Hello, welcome to Yoga at the Library in our new spot in front of the pretty tables that I love. We are going to do a nice relaxing practice with a little bit of everything tonight. We're going to begin on our backs laying down. I know that we like it when we begin on our backs laying down. So that's where we're going to start tonight. Laying down however it's comfortable for you to lay down. The arms can be wherever it's comfortable. Legs can be out long, or the knees can be bent, whatever feels better to your back especially. Checking in with your spine, making whatever adjustments you need to get comfortable on your back. So adjusting the shoulders, adjusting the arms, the head, the feet and the legs. Finding a place where you feel like you can relax and be comfortable. And we'll check in with our spine a lot. This is the heaviest part of our body right now, pressing into the mat. Maybe you feel some compression here, maybe you feel some release. Just noticing what you do feel. Noticing where your spine is pressing more heavily into the floor and where you feel lightness. Noticing what's going on in your hands and your feet. Are you able to relax them? And we'll check in with our breath. Taking a big deep breath in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Big deep breath in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Just watching your breath, taking some nice deep breaths, maybe for the first time today. Feeling the lungs expand, the belly expand, the back of the rib cage press into the floor. On your inhalation and on your exhalation, pressing all that air out with the strength of your core and your diaphragm. Taking a few full, complete breaths. Noticing if you feel tightness anywhere in your breath. If your inhalation feels a little bit constricted, trying to just let those lungs relax and expand. And exhale. We'll bring the arms out wide into a T shape, crossing the right leg, or actually bending the knees first. Bringing the bottoms of the feet to the floor, pretty close to your hips. And now we'll cross the right leg over the left, crossing those thighs one over the other, and letting the legs fall down to the left. So coming into a big twisted twist. And that right shoulder might come up off the floor, and that's just fine. Your knees might not come all the way down to the floor, and that's just fine. We're just opening up through that whole right side. Inhaling up to center. Keeping the legs crossed, we'll let them drop over to the right side. So now the weight of that right leg is pulling the left knee down towards the floor. Again, it's okay if your knees don't come all the way to the floor. It's okay if your left shoulder comes up. We'll inhale back up to center, carefully uncrossing those legs. Bringing the feet back to the floor, in close to the hips. We'll cross the left leg over the right, letting the knees fall down to the right. Big twist with a twist. Breathing to relax through that spine. We'll inhale to come back up to center, keeping the legs crossed and letting them drop down over to the left. Noticing if you feel tighter on one side than the other. Just noticing. We'll inhale, the knees come back up. Uncrossing those legs. Hug the knees in. Roll around on that spine. Maybe even lifting the chin up so you've got more of a round surface to roll around on. Just kind of giving your spine a little massage against your mat. Rolling from side to side and forward and back and maybe in a circle. We'll release the feet back down to the floor, knees are bent. We want to have the feet about hip width apart, the feet pointing straight away from us, so our feet are parallel. We'll bend the elbows so the fingertips point straight up towards the ceiling. We're going to move with our breath. On our inhale, we're pressing into the elbows to lift the shoulder blades off the floor. And we exhale, stay right here. Inhale to press into the feet, lift the hips up off the floor. And exhale to lower everything all the way back down. So it's like a stair step almost to get all the way up. We'll inhale, lifting the heart, pressing those shoulder blades together, pressing into the elbows, and exhale here. Inhale, lifting those hips up. Exhaling, lowering it all down. We're going to do that one more time, then we'll flow it all together. Inhaling, lifting the heart. Exhaling with that heart still lifted. Inhaling, lifting those hips. Exhaling all the way down. All right, we'll do 3 just plain old bridges. So we'll inhale, pressing into the feet, lifting everything up, lifting that heart, pressing into the elbows, and exhale to lower all the way down. Inhaling, lifting, bringing the heart towards the chin, and exhaling all the way down. We'll lift one more time, pressing into the feet, pressing into the elbows, lifting the whole front of the body up towards the ceiling, and then exhaling on down. Getting comfortable on the floor again. We'll extend the legs out long and the arms up tall, extending from the fingertips all the way down to the toes. Called a good morning stretch, just like you would stretch on a really, really nice morning. Extending those legs as long as they will go, the arms. And on your exhale, just relax. Alrighty, we are going to make our way up into a seated position. Doing so however feels right to you. You can rock and roll. You can come to one hip and come up. coming up to sit on your mat. And we'll sit in our easy seat pose with the ankles crossed, sitting up nice and tall, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, bringing the hands together at heart. We'll take a big deep breath in here. On the exhale, pressing the palms forward, rounding between the shoulder blades. Inhaling, palms come up, shoulders stay dropped. Exhaling, hands come back behind and interlace. We'll inhale to open up the heart, lifting the hands and lifting the chin. Exhaling, hands come back to center. Big deep breath in. Exhaling, pressing those palms forward. Inhaling to lift the palms. Exhaling, reaching back. Inhaling, opening across the heart, lifting the hands and the chin. Exhaling, hands together. Big deep breath in. Exhaling, pressing the palms forward. Inhaling, palms come up. Exhaling, hands back behind. Inhaling to open up across the heart. And exhaling, hands to center. Alrighty, we'll inhale, arms coming all the way up, and we're gonna stretch through our sides. So one hand comes down, we reach up and over with the opposite arm. Inhaling up. And exhaling down to the other side. And I've been learning a little bit about hip health and pelvis health. And I learned that when we're doing side stretches like this, it's okay to let that sit bone come up off the floor. So when I come down to the left, my right sit bone comes up. When I come down to the right, my left sit bone comes up. And that's okay. You don't need to keep both sit bones rooted. Protects the joints of the pelvis to let your hips move with your spine. Learn something new. So we'll meet back at center when you feel even. Bringing the hands on down. We'll switch our ankles, so the opposite ankles in close. Sitting up nice and tall, getting ourselves rooted. And we'll twist. So we'll inhale, both arms come up. We'll exhale, twisting one arm across the opposite knee, the opposite arm behind. Inhaling to get tall through the heart. And exhaling to twist a little deeper. Inhaling, both arms come on up. We exhale to twist in the opposite direction. Inhaling to get tall. And exhaling to twist. Moving with your breath here. Maybe moving on each breath. Maybe taking a full round of breath in your twist, whatever feels best. And when you feel even, meeting back at center. Bringing the hands down to either knee. I guess your hands down to both knees. And we're gonna make big circles with the chest. So we're rounding back and pulling that heart forward. Checking in with our obliques, checking in with the low back, the hips. Using those knees for a little bit of support. We'll switch directions. Noticing if any part of your lower body feels tight here or feels uncomfortable. And feel free to give those spots some extra attention. Maybe a little rub. Meeting back at center. We'll make our way carefully into a tabletop position. So on our hands and knees. Bringing those hands right underneath the shoulders, the knees right underneath the hips. And we're going to tuck our toes for this little flow that we're going to do. We want to extend from the shoulders all the way to the hips, from the crown of the head all the way to the tailbone, making our core strong and our spine long. Taking the hands a couple inches forward so that you can make a straight line from the shoulders all the way down to the knees. So we're coming into a modified plank and we've got our toes tucked. Taking a big deep breath in here, keeping our elbows in close. We're going to exhale and lower all the way down to the mat. And this is where we point our toes. Inhale to lift the heart. Using the hands just a little bit, more using those back muscles. Exhaling to lower the heart. Tuck the toes, using those arms, elbows stay in close to push back up to our modified plank. We're going to do that 2 more times. Big deep breath in here. Exhaling to lower. Pointing the toes and inhaling to lift. Exhaling to lower, tucking the toes, pushing back up, and hanging out here. Deep breath in. Exhaling to lower, pointing the toes, inhaling to lift. Exhaling to lower, tucking the toes and coming all the way back up. Oh my goodness. Taking the knees wide and the big toes together and relaxing back into a child's pose. Your elbows can be bent out to the sides here. Letting the forehead be heavy down towards the floor, letting the tailbone be heavy down towards the floor. Checking in with your breath. Checking in with your arms, your shoulders, your hips. We'll make our way carefully on up, back into a tabletop position. Bringing those knees back underneath the hips. Hands right underneath the shoulders. The fingers are spread out wide. We're going to stretch the shoulders a little bit. So we'll keep that left hand planted. We'll inhale, take the right arm out wide to the side. And exhale, threading it underneath, lowering that shoulder almost all the way to the floor. Inhaling, opening it out wide. And exhale, lowering through. Inhaling one more time, opening it out wide. And exhaling to lower. And maybe you can take that left arm up overhead. Maybe you can take that left elbow to the floor. Maybe you can take the side of your head to the floor. Relaxing wherever you need to relax to get a nice stretch through that right shoulder. Breathing and letting that shoulder relax and stretch. We'll carefully make our way back into a tabletop. Bringing the hands back underneath the shoulders. We'll do that same flow on the left side. Taking the left arm out wide to the side. And exhaling, threading it through, lowering the left shoulder almost all the way down. Inhaling to open it out wide. Exhaling, lowering through. Inhaling to open up one more time. And exhaling, coming down into your pose, whether that's perched up on the right elbow or lowered all the way down with the right arm up overhead. Coming into your stretch. We'll carefully make our way on up. Taking those hands several inches forward, and we'll tuck the toes again. We're going to come into our first of 2 total downward facing dogs of the evening. So we're gonna press into those feet to lift the knees and lift the hips. Alternate bending one knee and then the other. Waking up those hamstrings. Keeping the head more over the forearms rather than pressing and forcing that head in between the biceps before your body's warmed up. So just kind of moving around in your downward facing dog. We'll look up towards the hands. Take a bend in both knees and we'll walk with the feet on up towards those hands. Knees can stay bent, hands do not need to stay on the mat. We're just hanging out here in a forward fold. Letting the back of the neck release. Letting the arms hang heavy. Checking in with your feet. Are you leaning more onto one foot than the other? Are you leaning more into the balls of your feet than the heels? And try to make your feet feel even from right to left and from front to back. Notice how your exhalations let you get a little bit deeper into your fold. Notice how your low back feels, how your hamstrings feel. We'll inhale, bringing that spine long, just like it is when we're in tabletop position. The hands can come to the legs for just a little bit of extra support here. And the shoulders, we want to come back up towards the ceiling. On your exhale, we'll fold all the way back down. And on our inhale, we'll roll all the way up to stand one vertebrae at a time. Standing up tall. Alrighty, now we're on our feet. We won't be here long. We want our feet to be facing straight forward, our kneecaps to be pointing straight forward. Bending those knees just a little bit if we need to use the muscles of the legs to point the kneecaps forward so they're tracking over the feet. Hips are stacked right over the knees. Shoulders are stacked right over those hips. Arms are long and the fingers spread towards the floor. Neck is long. Here we'll do 3 sun breaths. So we did the bottom part of a sun salutation 3 times, and now we're going to do the top part of a sun salutation 3 times. So we can say we did 3 full ones all together. We'll inhale, taking the arms out wide and up. Exhaling to fold forward and bow. Inhaling to come into that flat back, stretching from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Exhaling, folding all the way down. Inhaling to come out wide and all the way up. And exhaling, hands into the heart. Inhaling, arms coming out wide. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling to lift halfway, pressing the shoulders up towards the ceiling. And exhaling to fold back down. Inhaling, coming out wide and up. And hands come to the heart. One more. Inhaling, arms out wide and up. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhaling, lifting up halfway. And exhaling to fold on down. Inhaling to come out wide and up. And exhaling, hands come into the heart. Alrighty, we're gonna take the feet and the knees all the way together here. We're gonna come into fierce pose. I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. So for fierce pose, we're acting like we're sitting back into a chair, but we wanna make sure we can see our big toes over our knees. And we're not sticking our booties out to get our booties into the chair. We have a tucked tailbone and a flat back here. We can keep those hands at heart. If this feels great, stay right here. We can extend the arms up. The fingertips can be long. If this feels great, you can stay right here. Or if you want to get really fancy, you can lift the heels up and just come onto the balls of the feet for a fun little lower leg stabilization. And because it's cool. Taking a big deep breath in wherever you are and exhaling to release. Shaking out your legs. And we'll take the feet now a little bit wider than hip width apart, maybe as wide as your mat, as wide as the narrow way of your mat. And we'll take both arms up. Exhaling, the right hand comes down to the right thigh, and we'll reach up and over with the left. So we're staying on a single plane. If somebody were to look at us from the side, they would not see our face turning towards them. Fingertips on the right side just get lower and lower as we stretch farther and farther. And this is where you need your abdominal strength. We'll inhale to come all the way up. And we'll exhale down to the left side. Those fingertips get lower as the right arm goes over. On your next inhale, coming all the way up and releasing the arms. All right, we're gonna balance a little bit here. We've got a lot going on in our heads right now, so balancing might be hard. And if you need to have a wall, that is just fine. We're gonna do 2 balancing poses on each foot. So we're coming onto the right foot first, so just coming light into that left foot. We'll bend the left knee, bring that knee up to hip height, and we're holding underneath the thigh or on top of that knee, wherever feels better to you. To help balance, you can have your hand to the wall. You can flex that left foot and stand really, really tall through your right side to help you be a little bit more stable here. Standing up tall, this is a yoga pose. We'll take a big deep breath in here, and on our exhale, we're gonna come into tree pose. So we're gonna release the knee, take the foot to the inside of the leg, and come into our tree pose. Whoa. And maybe you wanna keep hands at heart. Maybe you wanna take them up and out. Maybe you need your arms out to the sides to help you balance. Whatever you need to do is just fine. Standing strong on that right leg and continuing to breathe. Taking a big deep breath in wherever you are and exhaling to release. Shaking out that right leg. That was a lot. All right, we'll do the same 2 poses on the left foot. So standing onto that left foot, getting light into your right, coming into this Padangusthasana is what it's called. So we're lifting up the right knee, bringing it to hip height, holding underneath the thigh or on top of that knee, flexing the right foot, and standing really strong and tall through the left side. Not holding our breath. Taking a big deep breath in here. And on our exhalation, we're gonna let go of the leg, bring the hands to the heart, and bring that bottom of the right foot to the inner left leg, coming into tree pose. Continuing to stand really tall through the left leg, continuing to breathe. Taking the arms wherever you need to, wherever you like. Taking a big deep breath in and releasing. All right. Now we are going to come down onto both knees. And I'm going to fold my mat over for a little extra padding, and that is always an option. So we're standing up on both knees. We have our toes tucked behind us. We'll step a big step forward with the right foot and press the hips forward till that knee comes right over the ankle. We can take that right foot over to the right for a little bit more of a wider base if the balance is kind of off. We'll inhale, arms coming up, fingertips reaching high. Stretching through the left side body, the left hip flexor, the left thigh. Big deep breath in here. And we'll exhale, the arms come out to the sides, and then we're gonna twist towards the right and drop that left hand down to the mat and come into a big twisting lunge. And here you can hang out with that back knee on the floor, or since your toes are already tucked, you can lift that back knee. You still get a twist either way. Just a little bit more power in the legs if you lift that back knee. Lowering the knee down if it's lifted, and we'll bring that right hand down inside of the right foot. We'll turn those right toes out to the side and walk the hands forward, maybe walk the elbows down, getting a big stretch through that inner right leg. I like to rock my hips from side to side in this pose. Whatever feels good to you is just fine. Maybe you can take your elbows all the way down to the floor. Maybe you can just bend the elbows a tiny bit. What's important is that right leg. You can, again, here you can lift up that back knee if that feels good. Either way, you're getting a great hip stretch. We'll carefully make our way back to both knees. Standing up on both of those knees with the toes tucked. We'll step forward with the left foot, shifting those hips forward till the shin is straight up and down. Walking the left foot over to the left for a little bit wider of a base. And we'll inhale the arms on up. Stretching through the front of the right side. Inhaling, reaching high. And we'll exhale, taking the arms out wide. Twisting to the left and dropping that right hand down to the mat for a big lunge twist. And again, if you want to lift that back knee at any time, you can lift that back knee. Continuing to breathe. And on your exhale, we'll take the left hand down inside of the foot. We can take that left foot farther over to the left. We can rotate those toes out to the left. The knee can fall out to the left. And we're stretching that inner left leg. Maybe bending the elbows a lot. Maybe bending the elbows a little. Maybe lifting through that back knee. We'll carefully make our way back to both knees. And then we'll come to sit on our mats. And if you folded your mat, go ahead and unfold it. We're going to come onto our backs. Our knees are going to be bent here. The bottoms of the feet are on the floor. We're going to do a little bit of a leg strengthener and a hip stretch at the same time. Again. So we'll cross the right ankle over the left knee, planting that left foot into the floor. And just like we did in that bridge position at the very beginning, we'll bend our elbows. Fingertips are pointing up towards the ceiling. All right. We're going to press into the left foot and lift the hips. All we have is that one leg to lift us up. And then we exhale, lower down. 2 more. Inhaling to lift the hip. And exhaling to lower. Inhaling to lift 1 more time. And exhaling to lower. Now we can come into our figure 4 stretch. So maybe staying right here, maybe holding behind that left thigh, maybe even holding on the front of that left shin, bringing that ankle closer to your face. It is going to intensify the stretch. And if your right knee feels weird here, you can always flex that right ankle, protecting that knee joint. Breathing here, noticing where that tension is in the right hip, and using your exhalations to let it go. We'll release the left foot back down to the floor, uncrossing that right leg, bringing the left ankle now over the right knee, planting that right foot, bending the elbows so the fingertips point up towards the sky. And on our inhale, we'll press into the right foot to lift those hips. Exhaling to lower. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to lower. We got 1 more. Inhaling to lift. And exhaling to lower. Staying here for your hip stretch on the left side, or holding behind that right thigh, or even over that right shin. Flexing the left ankle to protect the knee if your knee feels a little bit questionable. Letting your spine be long and heavy against the floor. Breathing and letting your exhalations relax that hip. let the right foot come all the way back down to the floor. Uncrossing that left leg. Windshield wipering those knees from side to side. Just letting them swing from right to left. And we'll hug our knees in, maybe taking the knees kind of wide. Rounding the back and rolling around on the spine. Giving yourself a little massage. Relax the head back down and point or bring the feet up towards the ceiling. Your knees do not need to be totally straight here. There can be a little bend. And then we've got our feet about a foot apart from one another. We're going to make circles with those toes. So we're rolling the ankles. Drawing circles with our toes. Switch the direction of your circles. And then we'll bring the feet back to center. We'll inhale to flex the feet, extending the heels up towards the sky, and exhale to point the toes. Inhaling to flex. And exhaling to point. Inhaling to flex. And exhaling to point. And then we'll carefully, gently bring those feet back down. Coming into your final relaxation pose. Whether that's knees bent, letting the knees fall towards one another so you can relax, or legs out long, or laying on your side, or even legs up the wall if you're feeling like some legs up the wall. Finding a mostly symmetrical position for you to relax in for a couple minutes. Letting your body be heavy and soft. Relaxing the feet. Relaxing the lower legs. Relaxing the knees, the fronts and the backs of the knees. Feeling the softness of your thighs, the heaviness of your hips, relaxing those muscles. Relaxing the belly, letting the low back release. Feeling the weight of the upper back against the floor. The shoulder blades are flat against the mat, letting the chest be open. Relaxing the arms. Fingers just naturally curl. Relaxing the jaw. Feeling the weight of your head against the floor. The face is smooth. Just breathing regularly here for a minute or two, not dwelling for too long on any thought that might arise. to deepen your breath. Waken up your body by moving the fingers and the toes. Rolling out your wrists and ankles. Bending the knees and coming to lay on one side. Making a pillow with your arm. And we'll carefully come back up to a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall, extending that spine. Noticing hopefully some new space in those hips, some new length in the spine and the lungs, some new openness in the shoulders. We'll bring the hands together at heart. We'll close with our 3 deep breaths. We'll take a big deep breath in for the world. Exhaling, hands into the heart. Big deep breath in for our community. Exhaling, hands together at heart. Big deep breath in for ourselves. Exhaling, hands to heart. Thank you so much. Namaste.